What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin Cash today. Shout out to the Dragon Riders in the House of the Dragon. Here we are, dragon ass still. We are up about 2.3% today, and that's fine. A little bit of volume coming in, but it's nothing above average. We are chilling in the RSI. We're pretty damn neutral with a bearish tilt. Actually, it might be more of a bullish tilt if I'm being honest. Could we move up from here? Sure, absolutely we could. $88,200 right now on Bitcoin. $333 right now on Bitcoin Cash. If Bitcoin moves up, if it moves down, if it just moves sideways, I could still see Bitcoin Cash moving up to like 350, maybe even 376 before we get this massive dump that I'm assuming to happen. And I say massive, it's not going to be massive, right? Like this is pretty massive. Let's just see. Actually, I might eat my words on this. Yeah, that's pretty massive. I don't think it'll be like this size, this magnitude. But I do assume Bitcoin Cash will probably drop another like 20 to 30% from its current prices, which would take it to lower lows, wouldn't it? From this price here and down, 20% would be right around these lows. 30% would be all the way down around like 230, 240, something like that. If we move higher, if we do see prices up here, that brings up that low price prediction area, something like that. But if we look at this from a low here on February 28th to the high there, there is a good reason to believe, at least from the current price, that if we were to drop 20 to 30%, we could go to the 1272 right there at 238, 240. So something like that is a very highly anticipated price. If we look at this, we put some lines on there, and Bitcoin Cash is known to drop sometimes even more than the average crypto really quick, but then come back up. So just be prepared for that. We go back in time. This is an area. This whole area is right where we found support right through this whole time. Um, Nothing really else that's significant on the time frame. Kind of resistance there, but nothing that I'd weigh heavy on. It doesn't mean that we have to go down there just because there's some significance there. Again, if we pump up before the drop, I would anticipate that Bitcoin Cash actually will not go below this low, but that just depends on how high we go, right? I am anticipating a 20 to 30% drop regardless if we pump or not. I am anticipating that once it comes time to move up, once it does come time to move up, and I haven't sold a single ounce of my Bitcoin Cash, you guys. I'm still holding all of it from a high here to a low here. $936 is the first target. $1,300 is the end of this first target zone, right? The primary target zone is the 1618 to the 1272. And I do believe at the very least, like littlest, I would think that we at least see this. But the reason why I have a hard time thinking we stop here and we don't go higher, I very much do believe we go higher, is because at that point, we will be breaking out of this multi-cycle long bearish consolidation phase that we've been in, right? If I delete this and you see it here, right, we've got these lower highs coming in from all the way back here in 2017. Lower highs that we've found resistance on consistently. We're doing things differently this time than we've done any other cycle, flirting with it a little bit more, staying up at these areas for a longer amount of time. I think when it comes time to breaking out of this range, we're going to do exactly what every other crypto that's broken out of its multi-cycle consolidation phases has seen. We're going to see a move that goes all the way up near its all-time highs. That's my thoughts. And I could be wrong. I could be really wrong here. Maybe we don't, and that's why we talked about those first targets around 100 or around 1,000. Like it's like $900 to around $1,300. Maybe we stop there. Maybe we stop around our last cycle's highs. That could happen, and that's still a nice breakout move. But if we do see something miraculous, something rather stupendous, as we've been hoping for, as we're looking for, as we aspire to do, if this sees the same kind of growth that we've seen like XLM and XRP do when they've broken out of their multi-cycle consolidation phases, they run all the way up to where the consolidation phase began. This is a genuine target. This is not Moonboy BS right here. This is genuine, guys. I think that we will see Bitcoin Cash when it comes time to run up. I think we will see a target move that's up to $2,300 to $4,300, somewhere in that range. If not just above, if not just below, but I actually think somewhere in that range is very appropriate to consider. If we take a high to a low from the last bull cycle high to low, our 1272 minimum target is right there at 3,700. If we take this, I don't know, because we don't have the low here. It might not be appropriate. Let's take the overall all-time high to the all-time low and just see here. You have your 886 right there as well, 2,800. It's possible you could stop below, and it's okay if you do. But if anybody wants the notion of us going to 20K or higher by the end of the cycle to be achieved, by the end of this next move, you need to see some serious headway. You need to. Because if we see these targets now that we've been long awaiting for at $1,300, $1,700, if we see that, that's fine. But we're not going to get to 20K by the end of the cycle. No way. We'd be lucky, I think, to break even like too much above these highs here. 10K would then be like the maximum prediction. 3650 would be the minimum prediction, right? Something around this area. And if we see that, that's fine. I think I speak for all of us whenever I say that's fine. We'll take the gains. It's okay. But I have a hard time seeing Bitcoin Cash underperform the average coin. So from here, a 20x would be about $7,000, $6,600, something like that. That would take you right above the 1414. It's very common to go just above the 1414. So I could see that happening as well. Something that's just above new all-time highs, you know, gives a little life to Bitcoin Cash, but then as soon as it gets it, that's whenever the bear market starts. Who knows how it's going to happen? But again, I don't think it's appropriate necessarily to have any kind of conviction. And have like serious beliefs in any target until we see how this move performs. Because if we move up, you guys, if we move up here and it's just a slightly higher high, we get to like $1,000, $1,300, something like this. That's not going to be too impressive. I think we'd be lucky to get over here, right? If we get to $1,700, $1,600, something like that, we get around these all-time or the last cycle highs by the end of this move. Okay, maybe we have a higher chance of seeing prices above 5K by the end of the cycle, but to see anything truly impressive, to see the land of the promise, that 20K target, which we don't have on the table anymore, to have that come back, we would have to move all the way up above, probably above 2,300, somewhere between 43 and 2,300, and any higher, of course, will help your cause. But I am expecting, regardless, I am expecting something rather miraculous to happen with the breakout of this move. I think it is coming. We are on the monthly RSI, not looking the best, if I'm being completely fair. Being below the 50 is not good in the bull market after finding support on it time and time again. We've had every opportunity to move up, and we just haven't done it. So we need to see some life. Unfortunately, I think it depends on the rest of the markets. And the thing is, you guys, Bitcoin Cash, through and through, it has a lot of the same fundamental values that Bitcoin does, and in my opinion, it's even better because it adheres more to the original white paper, to the original goal of Satoshi Nakamoto. Right? Bitcoin was never meant to be a store of value; it was meant to be a peer-to-peer cash system, which is exactly what Bitcoin Cash aims to be. It's sticking true to the code, and I think that people like Roger Ver, people like the Bitcoin Cash podcast, if you guys aren't following them, you know, you definitely should. I love the Bitcoin Cash podcast. I watch their stuff all the time. I think Jeremy and Jet are good guys, and they're smart guys. They're a lot smarter than me, man. They definitely know what they're talking about. Bitcoin Cash podcast. I think it's the Bitcoin Cash podcast. Actually, yeah, right here. These guys. If you don't follow them and you like Bitcoin Cash, I don't know how you like Bitcoin Cash. You don't follow these guys. They keep you up to date with all the latest things that are happening. There's a lot of interesting things happening with Bitcoin Cash. There's a lot of things that I see people excited for. I'm not going to give them shout outs because I'm not trying to put them on blast, but there's a YouTuber that I follow who is basically all excited about these QR code things that Bitcoin's doing now that they basically they're not ripped off, but it's not a rip off. They're just copying Bitcoin Cash, and it's a good idea, and it's good for Bitcoin to do these things too, but it's like the credit didn't come from the Bitcoin devs. It comes from the Bitcoin Cash devs. And again, this is stuff outside my wheelhouse a little bit, but whenever I see other people getting excited for Bitcoin for certain things, I'm like, hey, wait a second, that they got that idea from Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash is very relevant. It's very, very relevant in the space. It's just a sleeper. And I think that depending on how this performs, it'll become more obvious of how much of a sleeper it was and how much potential this thing really has. Because I think when it comes to it, a lot of people are thinking about thinking about the crypto reserves in the United States. They're thinking about the crypto reserves like this. Okay, Donald Trump announced all these cryptos. That means there's going to be an arms race for all these cryptos. People need to buy up Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, XRP before the United States buys them up, right? This is what needs to happen. But I'm thinking strategically, I think that there will be countries that want to create their own reserves based on coins that they believe in or that could be competitors to Bitcoin. And the only real competitor, in my opinion, that there could be to Bitcoin would be Bitcoin Cash. And if that makes you laugh, if you think that's a joke, you think that's silly, just wait, man. Let's just wait. Let's just wait a couple months and see what happens here, because that might not seem like such a joke whenever we're up above $2,300. But if we're not, you know, maybe it is more of a ground to laugh at. But even then, still, Bitcoin Cash is better than Bitcoin. It is the better Bitcoin. It's the less popular Bitcoin, but you can't, from a fundamental perspective, other than popularity, there's no argument to be had that it's anything but the better Bitcoin, right? So I think all it takes is one country, one serious entity, one person of fame to mention this, to talk about this, and then we're back on the map. Roger Ver is a person of Roger Ver. He's a person of fame, but more of infamous in the crypto space, and he's been long associated with not just Bitcoin Cash but crypto. He is Bitcoin Jesus after all. Let's give him credit where credit's due. But when we have people that besides him acknowledging the potential that Bitcoin Cash has, when people start to connect the dots as to what this is, I think that's whenever we will really start to run. We were thinking it would be this cycle. It just hasn't been yet. but maybe it will be. And I think really price speaks louder than anything else. When we break above this trend here, if we see something truly miraculous, I think that'll encourage people to look at this thing differently than they ever have before, right? And that's just my opinion, but we'll see how it goes. I've got nothing else for you guys. Thank you all for being here. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Bitcoin Cash is not dead. It's going places. I haven't sold a single lick. We're gonna hold. We're gonna hold and wait, and regardless of how high we go, it's gonna be nice. It'll still be nice, but at this point, it's hard to say will it outperform or underperform the average altcoin. I would like to think it outperforms, but it's inappropriate to guess until we see how we perform over the next couple months. Okay, take care, guys. Bye-bye.